Patrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Jet Take. We're on our normal Wednesday at 5 time, but we were live a few days ago with Joe Caparoso. So 2 episodes in 1 week. It's big news here at the Jet Take. I'm Ben Blessington. Here's alongside Kyle Fahey. Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Ben. We got a special guest on the line, much anticipated interview. Been hyping it up for about a week or so on the gram and on Twitter. So we got a good show for you.
Yeah, no, on the gram, though, Kyle. I don't know about that marketing. All right, well, yeah, as always, you can follow us at The Jet Take on Twitter. We have a blog page. It's www.thejettake.libsyn.com. We're on Instagram. And obviously the way to listen to our podcast is either iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We're all over the place, so make sure to check us out on those platforms, and we have some stuff in the works, but some other stuff in the works that we'll announce in a bit.
Booming.
Probably in the next
week or
2 weeks or so. Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring on Derrick, who obviously was the New York Jets 7th round draft pick this past year, and he's in his 6-week vacation or so until training camp. So, Derrick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. What about you?
We're doing good. It's a nice summer Wednesday afternoon, or I guess evening for you guys. I'm on the West Coast, so it's still kind of afternoon for me. But Derrick, thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. You're obviously it's always fun when we get a chance to talk to a player, and it's really fun when we get a chance to talk to a rookie because there are definitely some. It's always great to get an insight into the mind of a rookie. But let's talk a little bit about your career. I guess we'll start back at Ole Miss. I think the thing that makes you a really intriguing pick is that you actually played wide receiver before you transitioned to cornerback. Can you tell us about that transition from wide receiver to cornerback? I mean, you played wide receiver and you caught a few touchdowns, I believe, in your first 2 years, and then that last year you went and switched to corners because your coaches thought you would have more success. And it turns out like it's worked out well as you were drafted by the Jets. So what was that transition like? Was it difficult? Because it didn't really show on the field from you.
It wasn't really difficult. It was just, for me, it was more the speed of the game from high school to college, because I played wide receiver and corner also in high school. So I was kind of used to playing both. But it was just, once I got used to the speed of the game, it kind of went okay for me.
Well, that's awesome. And so did playing wide receiver give you any other tools that you now use as a cornerback? Did you get any insight into the mind of a wide receiver since you played it?
Yes, sir. It definitely helps, man. You can tell from a wide receiver stance or where he lines up on the field. It gives you routes to eliminate and give you things to think about as you as the quarterback go through a cadence or something like that. It gives you something to eliminate, and you don't have to try to worry about guarding every route.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure the athleticism to play wide receiver definitely helps translate. Let's talk about the draft process a little bit, and let's talk about Coach Bowles or just anybody in the Jets organization. I'm assuming they talked to you before they called your name. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what were they asking you in the pre-draft process? What was it like?
It was just the basic questions, really. How you feel about being on New York Jet, and things of that nature. Things like who you live with. Just the basic info, really.
Okay, did they have a weird question for you? We've heard some reports, from various, guys in the NFL now that they had some weird questions, and maybe even besides the Jets. But was there a weird question you got asked during the whole process?
No, not that I remember.
You were one of the lucky ones, I guess. Then apparently there have been some pretty weird questions throughout the years that just doing their research. Let's stick with Coach Bowles. You guys did the rookie camp. So I'm assuming you talked to him and Coach Rogers. What were they like, and what were they telling you your involvement this year is going to be?
I never really just sat down and talked with them. I usually talk more with my position coaches. But as far as like talking about playing time or anything of that nature, we never discussed that. We just basically try to get through practice, get better day for day, try to get through rookie minicamp, OTA, and man, when the season get here, we'll see how that goes. But that's a decision. It's all based upon my coaches.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bowles and Rogers, so you didn't have too much of an interaction with them. What were your thoughts on Coach Wilson, or was it the same thing that you kind of didn't really talk to him yet?
I definitely got to know Coach Wilson. I was with him every day. As rookies, we meet a lot, so we definitely was with him a majority of the time. And, I love the way he coaches. I love the intensity he coaches with, and he demands greatness. And as a player, that's what you want.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, as a team, that's what you want. We're definitely trying to improve off of last year. I don't know if you kept up with us last year, but it wasn't a great year. So I definitely like hearing that from Coach Wilson. Now, I was reading that during Ole Miss, and not only did you play wide receiver and corner, you did some special teams. So has there been any, talks about involving you into that?
As far as practice and OTAs, I definitely was involved in special teams. I definitely try to get in every spot that I could on special teams, because I know that's a big thing in the NFL and a major key in staying in the NFL.
Yeah, and so going through the rookie camp and we're done with OTAs, what was it like just like adjusting to this NFL lifestyle? You don't have classes to attend anymore. You don't have assignments to do. Now you basically just grind with football 24/7. We know you guys are in the much-needed break period at this point. But what's it been like adjusting to this NFL lifestyle?
It's definitely different because you got more time. So, you just really want to try to manage your time and have good time management, and try to not to sit around too much. Try to move around, do things throughout the day. The major thing, but I definitely say the major thing would be learning how to manage your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine all that time on your hands could be dangerous. So
yeah.
what's it?
Oh, sorry.
Ben, go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
So I was just wondering. So I mean, you mentioned how you're getting adjusted to the NFL. Have you had is there anybody in the locker room? And granted, I mean, you've only gone through rookie minicamp and OTAs, but is there anybody in that locker room that has been kind of like a mentor to you, in the cornerbacks room or even the secondary room? Guys like Morris Claiborne or Buster Screen, even guys Marcus Williams, Justin Burris. I mean, there are some veterans in there. Justin Burris was our pick last year, who we drafted. Has he given you any pointers on the life of a rookie corner, or have you talked to Claiborne and Screen, guys who have been in the league for quite a while? Is there just been any guy in that cornerbacks room that has kind of helped guide you along?
As DBs, we definitely talk like as a group. We more of like a group conversating type group. We don't really talk as one-on-one, but they definitely tell us at practice, like, no matter what happens, man, just continue to play. You're young, you're definitely gonna make mistakes, but just make sure you make mistakes full speed. And that's something that all of those guys they stress to us every day on a daily basis, and I definitely appreciate those guys for this.
Yes, it's definitely going to be key. And one of the things is, as Kyle mentioned, last year the Jets definitely struggled, and I think communication, especially in that back end, was at times was a little interesting. And now the Jets obviously have two new rookie safeties, and Jamal Adams and Marcus May, fellow rookies such as you. But communication, we've learned is probably a very big part of playing football, and especially being a member of the secondary. I kind of asked you about the mentor, but is there a guy who has kind of become your? I mean, you mentioned the DBs all kind of talk as a group, but is there guys become kind of your closest friend, a guy you might want to room with, during training camp? Is there a close friend or a fellow rookie or somebody that you've personally bonded with? You could be on offense or defense, wherever, but is there somebody on the team like that?
Me, Jamal and Marcus, we usually were together well, not usually every day we were together. But those usually were the two guys I was with. Sometimes maybe Katie Cannon and Derrick Stewart. Those basically like the five guys that I was, that I was close to.
So you're hanging out with the Rooks. That sounds like a good thing. You guys got to stick together with those veterans out there. It sounds like some SEC love too. Jamal, Marcus, and Ardarius.
Yeah.
I'm a Florida Gator fan. Sorry, but I always everybody says the SEC. I say it is basically the most comparable thing to NFL football. And I know you've only been through a couple weeks of it, but is that true? Do you think they're similar speed type?
Definitely, as far as like SEC, it's a lot of great athletes that's on one field. It's definitely, but the NFL, it's definitely not the same. It's a lot faster. But I imagine the game will even get even faster. But it's just, I would say it's probably less wasted movement will make it a lot faster.
So coming out of college, and obviously got drafted, we're here. What are you looking to improve upon from your game in college? Because it wasn't full time for you at corner, like we said. So nobody's perfect in the NFL, and we have some things to work on. So what are you looking to improve on?
Definitely be more physical at the line of scrimmage. Try to get my hands on people more. Be quicker with my hands at the line of scrimmage. And just soaking in the little things about the position. Just learning how to read the receiver more, man. Just get better on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always a great thing to want to improve on. And my final question for you is, who are you looking forward to going up against the most this year?
I don't really have a special person. I mean, I definitely look forward to going against every receiver in the NFL. I mean, because they received in the NFL, so they're definitely a great receiver. So I look forward to going against every receiver.
I'll tell you what, you better get ready to go against the Patriots because, they got TB12 over there, and you got to play them 2 times a year. I hope you're ready.
We definitely, it'll be a great experience.
Yeah, and Derrick, I hope to see you on the field this year, and I think it'll be fun to see you against the Pats. But please send Tom Brady my love, and just there was that Derrick. Last year the Jets played the Patriots, and Tom Brady ran as a blocker, and all the Jets players avoided him and didn't want to hit him because he's Tom Brady. But Derrick, please, if you want to be loved by Jets Nation, if Tom Brady's running open field, just knock his head off, please. Just from the Jet Take, we ask that of you. Just because.
Don't get fined though. Don't get fined.
Don't get fined. But Derrick, I have 2 more questions for you. First, I was about to ask you this, and then Kyle jumped in, but you touched on it just for a second. As a rookie, training camp is coming up. Are you expecting that the rookies could get hazed a bit? Or obviously you haven't gone through it yet, but is there a sense or a vibe, or the veterans let you know that there's definitely a storm coming when it comes to hazing in next month?
I definitely haven't got a sense of any hazing, but I don't know. I'll be surprised if not, though.
I mean, it looks like you guys as the rookies are pretty tightly are pretty close together. So I mean, maybe you guys might be able to fight them off.
Stick together from the veterans, man.
You got to stick together. Derrick, my final question for you: what are you expecting from this year for you? Maybe role wise, improvement wise, just what for this season, your rookie year. What are you hoping to grow on? What are you hoping to see the field? I mean, what are you expecting from this year as a whole?
I just look forward to having my first NFL experience, man, and going out and just seeing greatness from wherever, whether it's the sideline or whether I'm on the field, just being a part of this experience. But with the playing time, I never really think about playing time because I know that's something that my coaches control. But as far as me, I just go out on a daily basis and try to be better than I was yesterday. And the playing time, that I will take care of itself.
And I think that's a great sentiment right there, Derrick. Derrick, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You were great. And remember what we said about Brady. If it ever comes up, and he said he wants to play until he's 50. So I mean, if
make
you're
it
starting,
45, make it 45.
If you're starting in the next 3 years or something, you see Brady running down the sideline, just knock his head off, please.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Knock him out of his up boots.
But Derrick, really quickly for our listeners at home, please give out your social media, your Twitter or Instagram or whatever, just so our listeners can give you a follow. Just because I think, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my Instagram is at BeLegendary19, BeLegendary19, and my Facebook is Derrick Jones, and that's it.
All right, sweet. We'll make sure to tweet that out. Derrick, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You were awesome. We look forward to seeing you grow this year and hopefully in the future.
Appreciate y'all, man.
All right,
thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that was Derrick Jones, 7th-round rookie from Ole Miss, a cornerback. Derrick, thank you so much for coming on the show. He was pretty funny.
6th round.
6th round? Was I wrong in that? I'm pretty sure. Well, hold on, Kyle. Continue. You can talk, but I might have written this down wrong. Hold on. You can talk.
Remember we traded away that 7th-round pick. But, yeah, that was a great interview with Derrick. Thank you so much for coming on. I don't know if he'll listen to this, but thanking him for coming on, taking time out of his busy schedule to come and talk to a couple kids who are just, trying to achieve a dream. But,
right. Kyle was correct. It was because it was our last pick.
Yeah, it's our last pick.
That's why I said 7th. My apologies. But no, obviously, I mean, I think he's a guy that, as you mentioned, if he wants to make the active 53-man roster, I think he's going to have to do some stuff on special teams.
Yep.
I think even if he just shows a sliver of potential on corner and wide receiver enough, or not wide receiver, at corner or at special teams, I mean, maybe he can play wide receiver. I think the Jets will keep him because they're such a young team. But who knows? I think worst case scenario though, they're going to try to get him on the practice squad.
Yeah, that's worst case scenario.
But I think he'll definitely be a part of the Jets' plans. I mean, that's why they drafted him. But I mean, look, if he wants to make this team though, I think he's correct. That special teams is definitely the route to go. I mean, that's what he's got to excel in.
Well, what I will say, he's not a bad corner for the limited time he's played there. He was second on the team with pass breakups last year on a very good Ole Miss team. They didn't do phenomenal due to a couple reasons, their quarterback being hurt and a couple, suspensions due to some off-the-field things. But that was a solid team. And in the limited time he played corner, he put up some pretty good numbers, and he played against some pretty good players. I'm excited for his future, and he's tenacious on special teams. He's fast enough to run down the field and get to that guy first and make a tackle. We were joking around, heading Brady. Brady might not play to 50. This dude gets to him. I love this kid. I love this kid's attitude. I love that he's humble. I like that he called us sir, even though we're like 13 years younger than him, or whatever we are, younger than him.
17 and 16, and he's like 5 years old. He called us sir. I was like, all right,
yeah.
No, for sure. But I definitely think. I mean, he was a fun guy to talk to, and obviously a fun interview there. All right, Kyle. I think we're going to do a little bit of a shorter show tonight, but I know you had a few segments planned, and we'll probably have a call or 2 or 3, depending on the time we have.
Yep.
Just because we've done 2 shows this week, that we're not gonna do a huge show, but we obviously will get anybody who calls it. We'll get on. Kyle, I know you have a few segments. I'll give you the hosting mic for a bit while you introduce these segments, just because they're yours. Why don't you?
Does this mean you have to go to the bathroom or something? Do you have to leave right now?
All right, continue. I think you have a few segments, so why don't you introduce them, and we'll play a role reversal right now.
Yeah, Kyle's the host.
Spin
so hell has frozen over Ultimate Spin Zone. Yes. Yeah, we have a couple segments for you guys. This is the dead time of year. We're going to try and put out an episode every week. So we're trying to create some, new things for you guys to be entertained. We know it's hard to listen to the Jets 24/7 because we're depressed. Trust us. But we're here for you guys. So we got a couple segments, and Ben, you are included in this one.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you're so lucky.
Thank you, Kyle. Wow, thank you.
I've blessed you with this opportunity. First segment.
Pun.
Yeah. Hot seat, cool throne. If you don't know what that is, I'm pretty sure that's a common phrase. But here's the explanation. Players who are on the hot seat, obviously, and then players who are all good. So we'll do this by week because, the Jets every week, or it could be like people in the front office, it could be fans, it could be somebody on Twitter. I don't know, Drew Truth says something very strange, he might be on the hot seat. We don't know. But it will be every week because the Jets are a revolving door of news, so it won't be the same individual every week. We can promise you that. I'll go first. You ready? Do you have some individuals in mind, Dan? All right.
Yep.
My hot seat is Mike McCagnon.
I'm thinking just because you introduced this to me right now, so.
Yeah. Hot seat is Mike McCagnon. Okay. He's been catching some Twitter flack. Haven't seen it on Instagram yet, but definitely on Twitter. You got some people tweeting at him saying, "Oh, he's a fool, that he's gone full tank, he should be fired." That's up for interpretation, not my view, but he's on the hot seat for this week. And my cool throne, Jamal Adams. Dude's being proclaimed as a Hall of Famer already. I literally saw somebody call him a Hall of Famer on Twitter. And he was like top 10 on Connor Hughes players on the Jets this year. So for a 6th round pick, he's looking pretty cool right now. Or 6th overall pick, sorry. So Ben, you're
yeah, for sure. And wait, sorry, what did you just? Okay, wait. So I have to choose a player.
Bad podcasting.
On the hot seat, and then a player who's doing well. Kyle, I mean, you didn't explain it, so I'm live right now too.
Yeah. We'll do it live.
All right, let me think. Players on the hot seat.
Yeah.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We gotta get that soundbite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite soundbite of all time.
Like the best Fox
all right.
News
I guess so. Yeah, player on the hot seat or a person on the hot seat.
I got one. Just think.
Give me a second here.
Just think of.
I'm going Lorenzo Malden.
Ooh.
I'm going Lorenzo Malden. I think. Not just because. Now, we don't know the whole story. We don't know exactly. So we on the show are not going to make any, presumptions. Yeah. By all accounts, he has been a terrific guy in the community. We talked to him, and he was a very nice guy. We don't know what necessarily would happen that night, or if he's guilty or innocent, whatever. But we're not going to really comment on it. But besides that, I think that a guy like Dylan Donahue, so just focusing on the on-field stuff, and off-field, he might miss a few games because of this, or season, who knows, or none at all. But if we're just going to focus on on-field, I would have said it either way because I think Kevin Green really, really likes this Dylan Donahue guy, and I think
it's basically him.
Yeah, he sees a lot of himself in it. Obviously, the hair, but I think he sees a lot of the
Spider-Man
meme.
Between Derrick
Dylan Donahue is a blue-collar. Okay. Dylan Donahue is a blue-collar player. A guy came from a very small school, had to work for everything he had. I mean, he was not
three small schools. He failed out of 2 of them.
I mean, look at it. I mean, it wasn't like he was playing.
Look at him.
No, I wasn't saying. I didn't mean it like that. But I mean, it was because you keep interrupting me, Kyle. So I have to
get your take across.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute him for a second. I almost muted myself there. No, it's not like he went to Alabama or whatever and was on the prime spotlight. He had to make himself. He had to make a name for himself. So I definitely think that Lorenzo Malden should watch out because I think Dylan Donahue is a guy who has a lot of favor in the coaching staff and we don't know what the whole Lorenzo Malden situation is. And then last year was a bit of a down year. But however, he's going back to his rookie weight. Who knows? I guess best case scenario for the Jets, or I guess most realistic positive scenario. Because who knows? I mean, maybe Lorenzo develops into a full 3-down linebacker. Is that Jordan continues to excel, and then the other side, Dylan Donahue also continues to become a very prominent force, and then Lorenzo Malden is just our sack guru guy. We bring him on just the third down. Come on, maybe for Jordan if Jordan doesn't really improve his sack, and then Jordan, Lorenzo can get 5, 6, 7 sacks a year, and I think that would be a great situation for the Jets. As far as cool throne. You said Jamal Adams, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Cool throne. Who's just chilling right now?
I like that.
Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm just pondering here, Kyle. I'm just pondering.
I got a good one.
I actually have a few good ones for this hot seat, but I don't want to burn them all. And like I had a few I could have gone with, but for cool, if I get one more email from these people, sorry, I'm getting spammed by all these different accounts here, Kyle, because with the Jet Take email. Let me think.
That's a good thing. I'll give you one.
You can talk while I think for a second.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, no, I got one. Austin Safarian Jenkins, I think. Ooh. I think that he is a guy that has really started to excite people around him. He played terrific spring football. Again, emphasis on spring football without pads. But look, I think he's a guy that he has excited a lot around the Jets community. I think if he can stay healthy and he can stay out of trouble, he said, he redirected his life. He's back on the straight and narrow. He quit. He's sober and he's dropped 25 pounds. And I think if he can go back to the rookie he was in Tampa Bay, the Jets would finally have a tight end. And I'm very excited about Jordan Leggett. Don't get me wrong, but I think the two of them, if they can both improve, that would be the Jets system. Johnny Moe's system is going to incorporate a tight end. So one of those two guys, maybe both, maybe none of them, are gonna be solid, or at least they're gonna have the spotlight on them. They're gonna be targeted. So I'm excited for Austin Safarian Jenkins. I think with a limited, especially the wide receivers we've cut. Now, obviously, I'm excited about Quincy Enunwa and Robbie Anderson, but I'm not gonna see this through a green lens. There's a lot of question marks in that wide receiver core. I love Jets fans, and I think the wide receivers have a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and they're young. But let's not get wrong. Let's not get it wrong. A lot of those guys are unproven. Quincy Enunwa is not proven as a number one wide receiver. He's going outside now. He played outside corners a bit last year, but
how did we get to Quincy Enunwa?
No, I'm talking about. I'll bring it back to Austin Safarian Jenkins in a second. Robbie Anderson, we don't know if he could develop his route running. We have two rookies. We don't know. Sharon Peak, maybe he'll develop. I think it's a lot of positive check marks. So it's not like a 2014 or 2013 where the Jets receivers were terrible, but it was like they were Clyde Gates and Stephen Hill and whoever else. I can't even think of them. They're so bad. We had Chaz Schillings in 2012. But these are young, exciting guys, and I'm expecting them to grow. But they're very, a lot of question marks, and we won't be able to really evaluate them until midway through the year what type of receivers we have. But I'm very excited about Sharon Peak. But anyways, my point to this was I think the Jets are going to target their tight ends a lot more because of this. I think that you're going to see, and running backs are going to benefit from this too. You look at every running back in the Jets stable, Elijah McGuire, Matt Forte, and Bilal Powell, and as of now, they're all pass-catching backs. They can do other stuff. Matt Forte can be your in-between the tacklers. Bilal Powell is like the Energizer Bunny, and then Elijah McGuire, we're not really sure what he is right now. I've compared it to James White of New England, but he can do some other stuff as well. But I think you're going to see an increase in targets for the tight ends and the receivers, or tight ends and running backs, just because of the not a proven commodity really on the receiving core. So I think you're going to see guys like Austin Safarian Jenkins get quite a few targets during a game, especially if the Jets are starting a young quarterback. I know I'm rambling for a bit. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
But you look at how big Dustin Keller was for Mark Sanchez as a rookie. Even Kellen Winslow for Geno Smith. Kellen Winslow actually had a solid year that year.
They were average.
Kellen Winslow had a solid year that year, and that was Kellen Winslow Jr., who was old and target.
Tinted windows. Tinted windows. They go a long way.
Tinted windows. You look at it, just a good tight end for a rookie quarterback, which essentially whoever the Jets start at one point or another is going to be a rookie quarterback, is going to be huge. I think Austin
seems like we have one of those every 2 years.
Yep, that's what we do. Yeah. And I think Austin Safarian Jenkins will benefit from this. So
all right.
that was a long-winded answer for a short question.
Yeah, cool throne. I'm never doing that again. I'm choking on some antifreeze over here. All right, we'll introduce two segments.
I actually laughed at your joke there, Kyle. That's first.
Thank you. One more segment for tonight, then we'll get the caller on. I like this segment, and this goes to a couple emailers. Reminder, we are just kids. And here's the basis of it. You state facts that you had wrong because you're way too young to know, or things you didn't know. And I'll give mine as an example. And Ben, I know you got a year and a half on your, what are you, 24th, 27th?
Yeah, April 27th. But I mean,
Right.
I was following the Jets for a little longer than you have. That's why, for the most part, my history on the Jets is a little bit better than yours because I was following
You've been around
seriously. Seriously from 2008, but I mean, I knew who they were in 2007, 2006, 2005. But the Brett Favre year was the first year I knew every player and stuff. I was 8.
So here's my reminder. We are just kids. Fact of the day. I thought Mark Gastineau was the best member of the Sack Exchange for a solid 3 years. Then I found out about Joe Klecko. So, reminder, we're just kids.
Cool. This is something you can't just blindside me with. I'm trying to think of what I would.
You should definitely know one off the top of your head. I just thought of that.
I mean, I know everything, Kyle. So.
Oh,
it's a joke.
He goes to a private school too, folks. It's pure passion.
Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to think what I would.
You've been saying that a lot lately. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. Is that how you talk to Luna? He got a new dog, by the way. My dog died. He picked up a new one. So the dog continues to run in the jet take. His dog's suicidal.
Oh my God, Kyle, stop!
It tries to jump out of its cage and it's amazing.
I'm trying to think what I would say. I mean, Kyle, I don't think there's anything.
There's not one thing you had wrong because you misinterpreted it.
Not really. I'm trying to think of I mean.
I can name 3.
Oh, I got one. I thought before. I mean, but this is one that I think a lot of people would say. I think before I really sat down and watched a lot of Joe Namath film, I thought that he was a very good quarterback, and
that was going to be one of mine.
Hold on. I'll get there in a second. And I would assume if before I checked any of the box score of the Super Bowl that he would have thrown a few touchdowns. I mean, he was the Super Bowl MVP. But you look at it, the Jets won that year by running the football with Matt Snell and Emerson Boozer and playing terrific defense. They won the 2009-2010 Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan years. They applied that same formula. It was ground and pound, and it was play defense. And Joe Namath, unlike Mark Sanchez, was a leader, became a leader, and became a solid quarterback. He was kind of like a. I mean, you just watch his stats. I mean, he was a gunslinger. He would throw plenty of interceptions, but I mean, when it counted, he got it done. And I think that Yeah, so I think before I really knew much about that Super Bowl winning team, I would say that that would be something I wouldn't have really. If you don't watch it as much, you would just assume, oh, Joe Namath, he's hyped up as this amazing Jets player. It was really the Jets won that year. Not trying to take anything away from Joe. It wasn't like, I mean, he was Tom Brady just slinging the ball around. It was we grounded and pounded it with our two top running backs, played great defense, and then Joe was able to do some good things with his arm. Getting the ball to Don Maynard and George Salas, I believe. I think I got that right. Sauer. I was close. Salas. I was trying to fill in Greg Salas right there, but then George Sauer, I got it.
My family actually used to go to his house every summer for a party. They were friends of his, so the more you know. All right, Kyle hosting continues. We're going to bring on our first caller.
No,
yes.
I'm back.
He hates this. He hates when I cross this line.
Yeah, well, I was just giving you a chance to introduce some new topics or new segments.
I think I did that well. I think I can introduce somebody.
It was mediocre.
Plus,
I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
We got Twitter beef. Me and this guy. So I think it's totally fair. The always controversial Justin. Thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for waiting. What's going on?
Sit here.
What's up, guys? Love the new topics tonight.
Thank you. They're all mine. They're all mine for the record. Ben came up with none of these.
Okay.
Yeah, no takes on that.
I think I've come up with way more topics than you have, Kyle. So.
Yeah, can I give you my cool and my hot, guys?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
For cool, that's an easy one. I'm going to go Leonard Williams. And for my hot, I'm going to go with Bryce Petty because this guy can possibly not be on the roster this year. I mean, I think he's going to make the roster, but this guy needs to do something in his third year. This guy needs to be ahead of Hackenberg, and if he's going to win the job, he has to come ready in training camp. And he's got some pressure coming off the injury, and we traded up for this guy. People forget that. So, I think this is a big
in the fourth round.
year for Bryce Petty.
Well, yeah. Justin, you mentioned you think there's actually a chance that he won't make the roster, really?
Nah, I think he's going to make the roster, but this is a very important year for him because this is year 3 for him, and I don't know if he's going to be on this roster if he doesn't show up. Next year, I don't know if he's going to be on the roster. If he doesn't do it this year, then I think he's gone next year.
No, I completely agree. I think it's a make it break it year for Bryce Petty, 100%. You look at him. He's 25. He's an older rookie. He really hasn't. He's played 3-4 games throughout his career, and he's been mediocre. He's had some good, some good plays. I think okay is a compliment. I think he was solid. I mean, you look at that one drive against Miami where he hit Robbie Anderson in stride. I mean, that San Francisco 49ers game, he looked pretty good. But then you look at the rest of that Dolphins game, or you look at some of those passes where he threw to Robbie Anderson in that Niners game where he just got completely bailed. So, I mean, not just Robbie Anderson. A lot of those passes in that Niners game, he got bailed out. There was one with Quincy Enunwa where he just stuck his hand and saved an interception right in the defender's belly. I mean, the ones where he'd lob it up to Robbie Anderson, I mean, it was just he was bringing it, Robbie brought it down in triple coverage or whatever. So, and then you look at he got hurt in the New England game. Didn't really play much in the Dolphins game, and he had a check down or two. The Rams game, he was kind of he was solid at first. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a mediocre. I wouldn't say he was okay. I would just say he's mediocre, probably like a 4 out of 10 if I had to rate him. But yeah, I agree. Make or break it. I don't think you can. But I will say this as a positive thing for Bryce Petty because I like him. I like his character a lot. But I think that he can. I wouldn't wipe out him being terrible or him being good, excuse me. Like there's still a realm of possibility that he could come to training camp this year and be the best quarterback and be the starter and be solid because he did show some flashes. But that's going to be a long shot. Kyle, your take on Bryce Petty. This is your guy to start the year, so that was your point. So give us your take on Bryce Petty.
I think you're right. I think he is kind of on the hot seat. I don't think from the team though. I think it's more from the fans and the media. We've heard a lot about Josh McCown, Christian Hackenberg in training camp, how McCown has a clear advantage, how Hackenberg either sucks or he's doing well or he's hitting reporters, blah, 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 where nobody's trying or the reporter's stepping into it more than Hackenberg stepping into his throws. But we haven't heard about Bryce Petty at all, and that may be a good thing, but I think the Jets fans are interpreting as we're not hearing anything about this guy who's recovering from a shoulder injury after getting pancaked by every defensive end in the world because Ben Ijalana and Brent Qualve, however you say his name, can't protect to save their lives. So I guess it's a good thing, but of course Jets Twitter is going to roast a dude who has nothing being talked about him right now. We see it with a bunch of players. See it with Marcus Williams, the guy who had a sneaky good year last year, but he was battling injuries for most of the time, and Jets Twitter just completely ignores that and says he should be cut and not re-signed, even though I think Ben and I both said he should be re-signed. So I think he's on the hot seat on Twitter, which is where you tend to swim around. But I think from the team's perspective, I think he's on a cool throne right now. I think he's really the only guy that they have, besides Hackenberg, that they have to keep in that group.
Yeah, and Justin, we're going to keep it going here. We asked this to Joe Caparosa when we had him on the show. We have a few awards here for the Jets that you're going to award a few players, and
we went in the off season like the Jaguars.
Well, and we'll reevaluate some of these by the end of the year. We'll probably do mid-seasons. We'll update this every once in a while. But I want to make sure I get this right. So you're going to give me Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and Most Improved. Was that it? Kyle, was that the 5 we gave Joe? I have to check my notes, but
sure.
No. Thanks for your
I
answer,
don't
Kyle.
know the answer. I don't know the answer.
1 second. Just keep talking, Kyle. Okay. At the very least, it was give us your Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year, and then I'll
and Most Improved. Most Improved. That was
Are we going for just our team or the whole league?
This is the Jet Take, Justin.
The Jets.
All right, so Rookie of the Year, I'm going Adams. Comeback Player of the Year, Severian Jenkins. Offensive Player of the Year, I want to say Stewart, but I can't say him because he's not healthy yet.
I like that.
So Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to say I'm going to say maybe Jordan Leggett. I mean, that's going to be a surprise, but I really think him and ASJ, I really think we're going to utilize them.
Going to be Gronk, Martellus Bennett like?
I don't know about I don't know about that yet, but I mean, I think this could be a good pairing in the making for this rebuild. I really do. And defensive rookie, I'm gonna say. I said Adams. So who am I missing? What spot?
But so you have to do
defensive player of the year.
You do rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, most improved, and then comeback player of the year.
Okay, so I said Austin Severi-Jenkins for comeback. Defensive player, I said Adams. I'm going to say offensive player of the year, Quincy Enunwa. He's going to prove all you people that don't think he can become the number one role. I think he's going to become the number one wide receiver that a lot of people don't think he can be. And
I never said he couldn't be.
I said it's unlikely.
Defensive player of the year, Leonard Williams.
Nice. Kyle, do you have your question? And by the way, Justin, I never said that Quincy Enunwa couldn't be the number one. I'm just saying that is a question mark. Can he? I mean, he has not. Yeah. It's not set in stone. You know, it's not like Eric Decker. If we were bringing him back, I mean, I guess he'd have his question marks that he's coming off an injury. But you know, it wasn't like Eric Decker is a proven wide receiver in this league. Quincy Enunwa is not. Quincy and Justin, I guess we'll engage in this before Kyle gives his take. But Quincy Enunwa showed a lot of promise last year. But you would be wrong if you said that he. I mean, Justin, would you agree that there were times throughout the year that Quincy would disappear for a few games, or the entire game, he'd have a game where he'd just get one catch for 15 yards, and that one catch for 15 yards might be incredible. And maybe you can chalk that up to the quarterback. Maybe you can chalk that up to Chan Gailey not targeting him or using him enough. But there were definitely times where he disappeared. And so you could look at, I mean, there were, and I will admit there were, and I'm a big Quincy Enunwa fan. I'm going to go buy his jersey. Like, I'm not trying to trash the guy. I think the guy's awesome and probably one of the most fun people we have on offense. But I mean, there was that New England game, the one at home where he just dominated. The Cleveland game he dominated. There are a few games he dominated, for sure. But I mean, where was he during the Seahawks game, the Pittsburgh Steelers game, the Cardinals game? That was 3 games in a row that he just disappeared for. He had a catch in the Cardinals game, but you know what I mean? So I think that's the big question mark is, can he be a consistent guy that's going to be there? I mean, normally we would want a guy like Eric Decker, number 2 and number 3, to be that guy who's just always reliable, but the number one wide receiver has to be a guy that is big time all the time.
Yeah, 6 or 7 catches.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to get 6 or 7 catches, but he can't disappear. There can't be a stretch throughout the season where it's like, where's Quincy Enunwa at? Like, he needs to be making his presence felt. It needs to be like, if he's not catching it, it better be because he's double-teamed and the Jets are finding other guys to go to, is basically what my point is. But, I mean, now he's going to be going up against less linebackers and safeties and less, slot corners and number 2 corners. Now he's going up against number 1 corners. He's going up against some tough defenses. That's the question, and we don't know about the quarterback. So that was my only question. Kyle, I ranted for a bit. Do you have your MVP, offensive player of the year, rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, and most improved?
Yeah. And I'm ready to give him. All right. Offensive player of the year, oddball. Justin alluded to it. Darius Stewart. I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. I think he'll be healthy. He got the surgery for the groin injury. He will be ready for training camp, and I think he'll earn his reps, and he'll earn our number 1 wide receiver position on market right now. So that's offensive player of the year. Rookie of the year, I'm going to go Jamal Adams. It might be rough for him at the beginning, just getting used to the game, but I think towards the end of the year, we tend to see a lot of Jets rookies come on and just give us enough hope to not bash them for the summer. It's going to be Jamal Adams. Comeback player of the year, I like Austin Severi-Jenkins. I agree with that one. For the time he played last year for us, he wasn't terrible. He didn't make any mistakes or anything. But I think just in general, it's a great comeback story. I can see this coming on, some sort of HBO special in 20 years when he's a Hall of Famer for us. So that will be nice. And then defensive player of the year, I'll give it to Leo because I think he'll make the Pro Bowl again. I think Jamal Adams will be close though. So
right.
Those are my
picks. No, I agree with both of you guys. Just because you guys had similar answers, I'll try to mix it up a bit.
Wow, I agree. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's not exciting to see Kyle and Justin agreeing. But okay, for rookie of the year, I think everybody's saying Jamal Adams, and it's hard for me to go against that. So that's probably the one that I'll
peer pressure,
concede.
peer pressure, Ben.
Peer
Peer
pressure.
pressure.
No. I mean, I would say it
High
anyway.
school.
I think this guy has been touted as a once in a generation talent. We're gonna see if that's true come September. But this guy better be ready to roll. He's gonna make mistakes. I'm not expecting him to come out and be Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor or whatever. But he's going to make mistakes. Same with Marcus May. He's gonna trip. He's gonna fall down. He's gonna miss his guy or whatever. But you're hoping to see throughout the year that he's improving and making strides. And so I think by the end of the year he will be the rookie of the year. Offensive player of the year. Just because you guys both said a noon one, right? Or no, you said Stewart.
I said Stewart.
And Justin said a noon one, right? Yes, okay. I will go offensive player of the year. I'll go Bilal Powell. I think, just because I'm mixing it up, I think that, as I said earlier, the Jets are going to lean on the running backs a bit with a young quarterback. I mean, what does a young quarterback need? Ground and pound. If the Jets' offensive line holds up, I definitely think
Powell offer that.
And hold on, I'm going to get there. I think the Jets, I think they're going to running back by committee, but I think that Bilal Powell is going to be the lead back. He's going to be the starter. But I think Matt Forte and Elijah McGuire are going to definitely get their share. I think if Bilal can stay healthy, a big if, because, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And every time he's been good, 2015, 2016, he got hurt by the end of it. I think he's a guy that if he can stay healthy, you look at him when he runs, he had some of the best numbers out of anybody in the NFL. I'm going to find the stat. Give me a second.
It was 5.5 yards
Caparoso.
after contact or something.
Yeah. No, there's that, and Joe Caparoso tweeted out, here it is. So the final 4 games of the year, Bilal Powell's, which was his top 4 games of the year, sure, top, when he peaked.
Jerome peaked.
They were the only 4 games where the Jets gave him more than 8 carries. In Week 14, when we gave him the most carry, there's a direct correlation between the number of carries he gets and the number of yards, as you would hope, but it's staggering.
Usually what
29
happens.
Carries, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions for 34 yards. Insane. That was against San Francisco. Week 15, 16 carries, so a little less, almost by half, and 84 yards, 11 receptions, 78 yards. Still productive, but if you imagine in that game, if he got 24 carries again, or we got 29 the week before, if he got 24, 25, what would he have done? Week 16, 15 carries, 60 yards. Again, less carries, less yards, but 2 receptions, 14 yards. That was the game against the Patriots, so nobody really played well. But again, that's still 15 carries for 60 yards. You wonder if he had 25 carries, if he had 4 receptions. And Week 17, 22 carries, so his second most of the year, 122 yards, 3 receptions for 15 yards, and a touchdown. And remember, he was hurt in that game. So I'm just saying, and then the rest of the year they were giving him that was the only time they gave him more than 8 carries. So the rest of the year they gave him 8 carries or less. That's unacceptable. Johnny Moe. I keep wanting to say either John Morton or Johnny Moe, but I keep mixing them up. John Morton's got to utilize him more. He's definitely one of the few pieces that on the Jets offense that we know can be a proven commodity. I think the Jets are going to lead back, have him as the lead back. He needs to be getting, I don't think he needs 29 carries every game like he got in that San Francisco game, but I think he needs to be getting way more than 8 carries. He needs to be targeted more. I think the Jets are going to utilize his pass catching ability, because I think that's definitely something when you look at the running backs I talked about earlier that they're going to use. And so I think that is, and they're going to lean on him because of Christian Hackenberg. So yeah, Bilal Powell is my guy. Now the question is, can he be? I know I give the longest answers ever, but part of what makes him good is that he doesn't he looks like he's shot out of a cannon every time he's given the ball, and part of that is because he's not the lead back. He's not always getting pounded into the back of for 1 yard, 2 yards. It keeps him fresh. So you're going to have to hope that the Jets can utilize Matt Forte in a way that keeps Powell fresh, but at least still give Powell the right number of carries, because you saw the balance was off. The balance was way off. The Jets they need to find that balance where Forte is still getting enough, where Forte can make an impact, because Forte showed some good stuff last year, and McGuire as well needs to get his carries. But Bilal still needs to be the leading guy. So that's my offensive guy. Jamal Adams is my rookie. Defensive player of the year, I'm going to go – trying to think of somebody we haven't. I'm going to come back to this one. I think – actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go defensive player of the year. I will go Jordan Jenkins. I think Jordan is going to take the next step. I think Jordan will take the next – no, yeah, of course. Could I go with Leonard Williams or Jamal Adams? For sure. But I think – if we're going to go, who's going to be the best player on the defense, maybe it would probably be Leonard Williams. But because for the sake of argument, since you both kind of did the similar thing, I'll take Jordan Jenkins because I think he's going to have a really good year this year. I think that he will definitely bounce back, or not bounce back. I think he'll definitely continue to grow. His pass rushing abilities will continue to improve. He's awesome against the run. I think you're going to see him develop into a 3-down linebacker in a really bright spot. I think he's going to flourish under Kevin Green. And you saw him through the last 3 games. I mean, he started to refine his pass rushing abilities. He saw a pass rushing specialist over the summer. So I think he's overall going to bring the heat. I think he's going to be a guy to look out for. But obviously, if you're going to ask me who's going to be the best player in the Jets defense, it's Leonard Williams. But I think for the sake of argument, why not say Jordan Jenkins? Comeback player of the year. You guys both said Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I'll go Muhammad Wilkerson. I think he will come back. I think last year was a down year. I think you can attribute that to he was hurt, and I think that look at Kyle tweeting that out. Tweeting defensive play. I'm going to get, what about Leonard Williams? No, but as far as back to the comeback, Muhammad Wilkerson. I think he was hurt last year.
Producer wanted.
Producer still wanted. I think he was hurt last year, and I think he will definitely excel. And come back to what he was in 2015. And then finally, most improved player, I guess I could have slid in Jordan Jenkins right here, but I guess for most improved player, I will go with, I'm thinking, Kyle. Give me a second, I'm thinking. I'll go Darren Lee. I think Darren will also take the next step.
Darren?
I think Darren's Darren. And it's Darren. I think he... I mean, look at it. Before he got hurt, he was leading the team in tackles. Obviously he had some off-the-field issues, and he had a few missed coverage last year, but he has the speed and athleticism to be a terrific coverage linebacker. I think another year in the NFL, seeing NFL offenses is going to help him, so I definitely think that he'll be better against the pass. He's fast. If he can stay healthy, I think he'll lead the Jets in tackling, so I think most improved. I think because right now the Jets look at Darren Lee as, you don't really know what he is. Most people wouldn't call him a bust, but some people would be like, he wasn't terrific, but I actually think this next year people are going to be excited about
second best linebacker in tackles and 5th amongst rookies tackles. So
no, for sure. And he missed 6 or 7 games. No, for sure. If Darren is
if he would have played the whole year, he would have led the team in tackles.
And would have definitely been
over 100.
Yeah, for sure. And who knows, his coverage probably would have increased too, because you have to think about that as a rookie.
More reps, more
reps and more times. So I definitely think that this year he will be a very good player. And I think, if he can stay healthy, that's another if. And I think he's going to be a guy that heading into 2018 that Jets fans are going to be really excited about. So that's my take right there. Kyle, I guess you're host right now, so go ahead.
Justin, any other things you want to talk about before we let you go? Because this is going to be a shorter episode, and we do have another caller on the line.
Who do you guys think is going to lead the team in sacks this year? Do you think it's going to be Leo, or do you think it's going to be Wilkerson? Even Sheldon, maybe.
That's a good question. Ben, do you want to go first? Because I kind of want to think about this.
What? What now?
Yeah, great podcasting.
Okay, fine. I was working on our secret project right now. Sorry.
We're building nukes for North Korea. It's our secret project.
Kyle, they're listening to this.
They outsourced.
Please read. Normally, Kyle, you answer the question first, and then I hop in. Justin, please. Sorry, my apologies. What was your Kyle? I got a tweet today saying that if you're still on the show, we're going nowhere. So
hey.
Kyle has started his own fan club. Sorry, Justin, please repeat your question. It was probably just Justin with the fake account.
Who do you guys think is going to lead the team in sacks? Do you think it's going to be Sheldon, Mo?
That's a very good question. I like that. Thank you, Justin. I'll go.
Second time's the charm.
You're amazing, Justin. No, I'll go as far as leading the team in sacks. I'm gonna go Muhammad Wilkerson. I think Big Mo will lead the team in sacks. With 12. I think he'll go back to what he was in 2015. I think Leonard Williams will also be. Actually, I take this back. I take that back. Now that I think about it, Leonard Williams with 12, he'll lead the team in sacks. Muhammad Wilkerson will have a comeback year, but he'll have 10. I think Jordan Jenkins will have about 9. Dylan Donahue and Lorenzo Malden will both probably have about 5, 6 each, which is pretty favorable.
I got a good
Maybe
question
Lorenzo
for you guys.
All right,
do you think Sheldon's going to be on his team next year?
2018 or 2017?
2018.
Yeah.
You do?
Yep. Can I give my opinion on the sacks and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go for it.
I think it's gonna be Wilkerson. I think he's gonna have to come back here, and if he doesn't, I don't think Sheldon's gonna be the defensive end not on this team next year. Just saying, because the Jets have a buyout for this year. They could easily get out of Wilkerson's contract. It's McCagnon's 2-year thing. Where, hey, it looks really nice, but we could just screw you over after 2 years if we want to. I love that he does that. It's great GMing on his part. So if Wilkerson has another bad year, we could definitely see him either just gone, just released, or, looking to be traded and maybe go and give that money to Sheldon. But also, since we're talking about the D-line, anybody else notice how Leonard Williams was not on the top 100?
Yeah, and neither
that list is a joke. So I mean,
yeah, and Jordan. The only two teams that didn't have a player on the team was the Jets or the Bears, and you could argue, wait, Jordan Howard was like the leading rusher in not that many games, or second leading rusher, or whatever. And Leonard Williams was better than half of those defensive guys. So no, it's
J.J. Watt was on the list, but Leonard Williams wasn't. That's
well,
terrible.
It's top 10 players. It's top 100 players for 2017. Which I would say guys like Adrian Peterson shouldn't be on the list. Or
he wasn't on there.
He was 97.
That's bull crap. That's bull crap.
All right, but Justin, going back to your question, I don't think Sheldon will be on the team. I think the Jets are going to trade him. I do. Ooh. I think they're going to either deal him. I think they're going to deal him at the deadline.
On this one.
All right. Hold on. Hold on. Justin. I think they're going to deal him at the deadline because I think Muhammad Wilkerson is going to be playing a lot better. I think they're going to see that. I think they're going to see, look at it last year, Justin. Last year, the Jets played infinitely better when they only had 2 of those 3 guys active. Week 1, when it was just Mo and Leo, the Jets had 7 sacks? I mean, let's look at that. So I think, and then even when it was just Mo and Sheldon, they did well. Sheldon and Leo. So I think it's going to be Mo and Leo. Mo's going to be playing well, and the Jets will trade him at the deadline this year. And Leo will obviously be playing well. So that's my take on that.
That's exactly what I'm hoping to happen. I see no way Sheldon is back next year. I hope Sheldon balls out the first couple weeks, and we trade him at the deadline. And Mo gets back to form. I think that's going to happen. So I think exactly like that.
Did I just pull a Helen Keller, or did he stop talking?
He stopped talking. God.
That may be problematic for me one day. That's definitely the North Koreans are listening. So, all right, Justin. If you don't have anything else to talk about, man, go ahead and give us your social media.
At Justin2413. Thanks, guys.
All right. I'm Drake. He's Meek Mill on our Twitter beef. That's the truth. Just laid it down. Oh, he left. Okay, I was hoping he would hear that. All right, we're gonna go on to our next caller of the night, and that is Ryan, who's been waiting patiently. Ryan, thank you so much for waiting, man. What's going on?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Ben's laughing. Ben's laughing at the way I said, what's going on?
To the mic. It was because you leaned into the mic and just, what's going on, Ryan? Really interrogating him. Yeah, what are you up to, man? What are you...
clear your history lately?
Okay.
No, but seriously, what's going on?
Yeah, let's talk some Jets football, man.
And not
let's do it, boys.
15 reasons why.
Kyle, I thought you were hosting, man. What happened?
I told a joke and you didn't get it from a previous 15 reasons
why. I got it. I didn't laugh.
Oh. All right, Ryan. So,
stark difference there.
Yeah. Let's talk about some Jets football. You've only been on for 10 minutes, so I don't know if you heard the first couple segments, but we're doing segments with the callers now in a way of, spruce up the show a little bit. It's running dry a little bit, just, dead of the off season. Did you hear him?
This podcast is terrible, just let you know.
The interview stage.
We're going down in the ship with this podcast.
Yep. I'm going down on a boat.
Actually, our numbers are pretty good right now, but
With Ryan. No, our numbers are all-time high. That's the thing. It's weird.
It was David. It was all his fault.
David sinking us like Ryan Fitzpatrick. All right. Producer wanted. All right, so Ryan, I'm just going to assume you didn't hear the segments, and here's the first segment of the night, and I'll explain it to you because these are new. You're the fourth person to play it, so congratulations. That means you're on the Mount Rushmore of our segments. First awesome. Segment of the You'll get a T-shirt at some point. First one, I did not mean to say that, Ben. That was a joke from something else. First segment, hot seat, cool throne, and you're basically just going to give us a player or somebody in management or just somebody in the Jets community who is on the hot seat. I think you know what that means. You seem like a smart individual. Mm-hmm. And then somebody who is on the cool throne, somebody who's got the crown on their head right now and they could go and punt a baby like Marquette King and not get in trouble. So who's on the hot seat and who's on the cool throne? Ben and I have given ours, but we don't. Okay. If people are just like jumping to yours, we don't want to spoil ours. So just
All right. But can I pick a hot seat? Can I be a player? Doesn't have to be a coach, right? Or a GM?
Yeah, just anybody like in the Jets community.
I'll go on the hot seat. I'll go Marcus Williams.
Ooh.
And
explain.
Well, I'm not the biggest Marcus Williams fan, if we're going to be honest. But
you don't like his hair? Neither do I. It's distracting.
No, I don't like his tackling ability. It sucks. I think Marcus Williams, in 2015, that was don't get me wrong, I love what he did, the interceptions and everything, but last year was just terrible. And he's just not physical, and every time someone catches the ball, they always go for another 10, 15 yards because Marcus Williams cannot wrap up whatsoever. I think that if you look at the cornerback depth right now, it's going to be Claiborne and Burris on the outside and then Buster Street in the slot. We drafted 2 rookies, Jeremy Clark, and the other name is
Derrick Jones. We literally interviewed him tonight. Ryan. Come on.
I missed that part. All right, but you get the point. And, I heard Dexter McDougal's having a pretty good mini camp, but then again, we don't know with that guy because, he hasn't really done anything since the 3 years he's been here. And that, that's just mini camp and OTAs. And we also signed a guy, Corey White. So I'm not so sure Marcus Williams makes the team, just with rookies and, what I'm expecting the lineup to be. We also have Darryl Roberts, I forgot to mention. He'll likely be the number 4.
Bill Belichick coach.
Well, let me jump in here for a second. Marcus Williams, I actually think, look, he did some great stuff. As Joe Caparosa, we had him on the show on Monday. Go listen to that episode. It's the one before this. Everything in that episode is still relevant.
Don't give away a quote. Don't spoil it.
I won't know, but basically, he talked about how, Marcus Williams is one of those corners that you look at as compared to Justin Burris or Darryl Roberts, that actually has gone up against some top corners. Look, he's been in the league for a few years now. He played well towards the end of 2014. He was terrific for the Jets in 2015. I still think he has a role on this team. He was hurt a lot last year. He battled injuries. That might not be as a starter. Maybe it is. Maybe it's in the slot. Maybe it's not. But I definitely think, or as it was in 2015, he's that 4th or 5th guy that comes in and he's a ball hawk. You can't deny he has a knack for the ball. It's not just lucky. Some of his interceptions did he just fall into? Yes. But there were some where he made a play on the ball. Even the one against Andy Dalton this year, the one against Sammy Watkins this year, back-to-back weeks, and then he got hurt, I'm pretty sure the next week or something. Mm-hmm. It's so I definitely think Marcus Williams has a place in this team. The Jets have struggled with turnovers, and he's one of the few guys in recent years that has been able to do it consistently. So I think he'll definitely make the team. But I agree, there's a lot of competition at that position. I think the Jets will have a better cornerback unit than they did last year. But I think Marcus Williams will make the team. And Ryan,
it's hard to get worse than last year. So
and Ryan, I have to apologize. I have to apologize here because I actually have to go. I have a prior commitment that I have to.
Hot date.
Well, no, not exactly. But I basically just because we're ending at 6:04, we were going to do it a shorter show. But Kyle will continue the show. If anybody else calls in, he'll do it. But I guess you two are going to go. So. Oh, I did lock the conference. But anyways, I got to go.
Yep.
Personal, believe me, I'd love nothing more to talk to you, but I'm running late here. So thank you so much for calling in, and you and Kyle can continue the show. But that's it for me.
Then you know what to say.
And I'll follow us at the Jettake, and follow me at BenBlessington7 on Twitter, and that's it. I'm out.
Bros before you finish it.
Hose.
Nope, he's not. Yeah, he didn't finish that. Okay. All right, so it's just me now, so you guys can stop listening. I know you do anyway. Ryan, can continue on with your hot seat, cool throne. I know you were saying Marcus Williams, and then Ben cut you off of that long-winded, explanation that he has. But I think you're right you mentioned Corey White and Corey White, and that was kind of brought to my attention. I completely forgot about that signing. Joey Blewett, Jet Nation Radio, I know you call into there. He brought it up to me. I completely forgot that that's the guy who's a decent cover corner and can also play safety. So you're right. Guys like Marcus Williams, guys like Dexter McDougal, who have just been on the roster primarily due to we need them for depth, and they haven't been pathetic, may have their jobs taken away by some of these new guys. So that's your hot seat. Now, who's on your cool throne?
It's got to be Leonard Williams. I mean, just because he's probably the safest Jet on the team. There's no way anything. I mean, even if this guy did something crazy, which he won't because he's a great guy. But you know what I'm saying. He's the best player on the team. He's the building piece.
Yeah, you think he could punt a child and get away with it at this point?
Well, I don't know about that, but it would take a lot to get Leonard out of here. Let's just say that.
Yeah. All right. For the second segment, I am gonna have to ask you your age. Just give me a ballpark. You don't have to say your exact age.
I'm 18.
Oh, okay. Whoa. All right. So you're buying Ben and I beer very soon. So this new segment is called Reminder. We are just kids, and basically what you do is you state a fact where, as a kid, you thought something about the Jets that was just completely wrong. I'll give you an example for mine. I said I thought Mark Gastineau was the best member of the Stack Exchange until I found out, Klecko's basically a Hall of Famer if, the guys in charge of that ever got their heads out of there, wherever they have them currently. So I don't know if you can really come up with one off the top of your head, but if you have one, go ahead and give us one.
I keep thinking, I thought Jonathan Vilma played most of his career with us. I didn't realize he was traded to the Saints for the best part of his career was with the Saints, not with us.
Yeah, it's weird. I actually have a Topps Chrome card for him in a Jets uniform, and when I had it at the time, he was a Saint, so that kind of threw me off. I had no idea he played for the Jets at the time. Yeah, he was a big part of that bounty scandal, whatever Sean Payton called it.
I remember that.
Yeah, I wish they had done that to Brady a little bit harder, not Peyton Manning. That would have been great. All right, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
What were we doing with Justin? Was it Rookie of the Year?
The
sack thing? Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. All right, so go ahead and give me. Forget Ben's not here. He's usually my crutch, but go ahead and give me your Offensive Player of the Year, your Defensive Player of the Year, your Comeback Player of the Year, and what was the other one? Most Improved or something like that.
Offensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna go Bilal Powell. I really think he's gonna be the workhorse this year. I mean, I really hope that he gets at least somewhere between 15 and 20 touches a game. I really think Powell, when he's healthy, that's a big if. But when he's healthy, I think he's the best player in offense. I think that was there's evidence, in the last 4 games he played last year of what he can do when he gets the ball. And, it'd be stupid really not to play him, with young quarterbacks in there, Hackenberg and Petty. I think we're going to rely on Powell a lot. He should be getting a lot of touches, should be getting a lot of catches. So Powell, for me, is going to be our Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay, and officially here are the 4 that we did. Offensive Player of the Year, what you just did, Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. So go ahead and give me your Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year, I have to go Jamal Adams. I think, this, not even just because he was our first-round pick, I think just because I think in this draft he was about the second best player overall, and we landed him at 6. I think he's one of the best safeties to come out in the last 10 years, which, it's kind of crazy that we landed Leonard Williams 2 years ago, and he was, also one of these once-in-a-generation types. I think Jamal Adams is going to be that same type of player, have that same type of impact on our defense.
Yeah, that would definitely be great if we can get, another player. Well, we hope we have him in Jamal Adams. Well, I know we have him in Jamal Adams, not to sound cocky, but
I am pretty confident. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in him. So go ahead and give me your Defensive Player of the Year.
Just talking about Leonard Williams, I want to say that, but I kind of want to do something bold. And I'm gonna go Sheldon Richardson.
Ooh.
I think, honestly, if you gave me a choice out of all three of them, like in talent-wise, like take everything off the field, which obviously, GMs and coaches around the league don't.
Yeah.
But I think out of talent, I do think Sheldon's better than Muhammad and Leonard Williams.
Really?
Yeah, overall talent. But don't get me wrong, Leonard Williams is a beast. It's very close, but I just think because Leonard Williams, I've seen the stat where he played like 49% of his plays at defensive tackle. I think Sheldon is just like, he's crazy explosive. He plays the 5-tech, the DE. I really think when Sheldon has his head-on trait, which he hasn't recently, then there's only like one other guy who's better than him at that 5 technique, 3 technique, and that's probably Aaron Donald. On the right side or in the middle.
Yeah.
So I really think Sheldon's going to be playing for that, because you know just as much as I do, Sheldon's playing for money. He said it a million times, like he wants that $100 million paycheck, and he knows right now that he's not getting anywhere near that, coming into this season. So I really think that Sheldon's going to really, really have a good year this year. I'd be pretty surprised because Sheldon's motto. He's playing for the money. You're not going to fault him, but I'd be pretty shocked if he doesn't have a good to great year.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think that's been talked about a lot. He's got the money signs, like on his Twitter and his Instagram. Like you said, he's fueled by money. So I would not be shocked if you're absolutely right. And talent-wise, personally, I would rank him second on the defensive line because I think Leonard Williams is just one of these new age guys. Not saying that Sheldon Richardson isn't like a new age athlete, but I think Leonard Williams is closer to Aaron Donald than Sheldon Richardson is to Aaron Donald. And I think that's just the disruption. Sheldon, he gets those sacks, he gets a lot of cleanup sacks, and he's great in the run, but I don't think he disrupts the game like Aaron Donald or Leonard Williams does. Leonard Williams is coming straight down the middle of the field, and if he's not down the middle of the field, he's coming off the edge, and I think he's better down the middle and equal on the edge than Sheldon. So I would give Leo just not, but you're right, it is close. And Leo might only be second to Aaron Donald. Maybe Geno Atkins. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's really underrated. But needless to say, we have a talented.
Leo's still really young, so yeah.
Yeah, and needless to say, we have a very talented defensive line. When we can name like 3 starters on our defensive line that are all top 25, and like defensive line.
Yeah,
that's
the Jets' defensive line should play like they did against the Bengals. They should play somewhere like that every not that was extreme. That was 7 sacks. But the Jets' defensive line should be generating pressure every single week, somewhere between 3 to 4 sacks. I mean, the fact that they don't, I don't know why, because we can talk here and say all the potential in the world. You got Leonard, Sheldon, Muhammad, but they never seem to play well at the same time. Muhammad and Sheldon. I do not know why, but you know that's the case.
Yeah, unfortunately it is the case, and I guess there is a thing of too much talent, and I guess one of these guys are going to have to go at the end of the year, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but go ahead and give me your comeback player of the year.
All right, let's think about this.
I'll play the Jeopardy music. I'll do my best acoustic version of it.
Comeback player of the year, I'll probably go Darren Lee, just because I think I wasn't the biggest fan of Lee. I've been I wasn't trashing him, but I really think some of the stuff he's done this offseason is really immature. But people have been too hard on him on his on the field performance. You know what I mean? I see Jet fans calling him bust already. I thought he was okay before he got hurt. I know he led the team in tackles, but sometimes that doesn't always tell the whole story. And Demario Davis has led the team or close to leading the team every single year, whatever team he's been on. But Lee's explosive. There was a play against the Chiefs, I remember, where Muhammad hit Alex Smith and Lee wrapped up the running back real quick, for a 5-yard loss. He just has that explosiveness too, and he's just that new age linebacker. And I think this year, in the second year as a pro, I think he's going to take the next step. And now that Harris is gone, he's going to have to, So I'm going to go Darren Lee as comeback player of the year.
Yeah, that's a good candidate. And I liked all your choices there. I didn't miss one, right? We did offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback, and rookie of the year. We did all those.
Yep. Yeah, we got them all.
All right, so let's talk about the defensive line because, like you said, they just all can't play together for some reason. No, Todd Bowles, the defensive guru, just can't seem to figure out how to use his elite level talent correctly.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to every position, but specifically defensive line. So if you had to make your prediction right now with Sheldon going to ball out this year like we expect, I'm sure trade offers will be flowing in at that point. Muhammad Wilkerson have anything in his contract where the Jets could easily get him off the books and either trade him or just let him go. And those are really the two guys on the block. If Leo left, that would be like Phil Jackson trying to trade Porzingis. I would personally go and just attack Mike McCagnon. I would put some lice in his Dunkin' Donuts or something. That's what would happen. So let's just say out of those two, Sheldon Richardson and Muhammad Wilkerson, who do you think is most likely to go?
Most likely to go, I'd have to say Sheldon, even though I was raving about him before. And this is because of all the off-the-field nonsense, everything he's put the Jets organization through. Muhammad Wilkerson, you got to give him credit. I mean, he's been a pretty classy guy off the field. I never heard of Muhammad getting in trouble off the field. And other than last year, to be honest, Muhammad's been consistent. That's something Sheldon really hasn't been. He's been missing games, whether he's suspended. Sheldon came in the league and he was a force, rookie of the year, and then he made the All-Pro. And then after that, it was just, off the field issues with the kid and everything. And then, last year he was played out of position. That's Todd Bowles' fault, but still out of Muhammad and Sheldon, Muhammad Wilkerson's definitely been the more consistent player. And I do think Muhammad Wilkerson will go back to his old self. I think he was hurt last year. We'll see. But I do like the way you said it before. Mac layers these contracts where he can get out of them out of 2 years. So just in case Muhammad does stink again, we can cut him, or move on from him. So and it's good because we're not stuck with the gigantic contract like we would have been in the past with an old GM.
Yeah, I think it's really rare in the NFL, and I've discussed this before, but I'll say it again because just a fantastic job Mike McCagnon has done. He's made some signing mistakes, but he's been able to get out of all of them in 2 years without any major cap hits, without any crippling things just going against us in the future. It's phenomenal by Mike McCagnon to get out of Revis, Marshall. Who else did we bring in? Marcus Gilchrist. And now Muhammad Wilkerson possibly, just in 2 years, gone, with nothing hurting us. It's a phenomenal job by Mike McCagnon, and a phenomenal job by you tonight, Ryan. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
Just one more question for you. If
all right,
because maybe it wasn't all Todd Bowles' fault. Maybe maybe the locker room was really bad, and maybe with this culture change. If Muhammad Wilkerson returns to form, we expect Leonard to do great things like always. And if Sheldon plays really good, like I kind of expect, would you keep both of them? Because we definitely have the cap space too. But what would you do if they both ball out this year, Muhammad and Sheldon?
Well, if they both ball out this year and Todd Bowles is able to use them correctly and find the plan, yes. The Jets will easily be the best defensive line in football. And if you have that, you're severely helping your linebackers because then if it is a run, you got guys to stop it, and there usually won't be a run because then they're going to have to beat you in the air. And once you know they're throwing, you know what to expect. Your scheme changes. Todd Bowles gets to capitalize off it instead of gambling on certain third downs, maybe like a 3rd and 3. Maybe it's a run, maybe it's a throw. Now we know it's a throw because they're not going to run it on our defensive line. So I think if they all ball out, they have a phenomenal year this year. Maybe Wilkerson has come back, maybe Sheldon Richardson has come back, maybe one of them make a Pro Bowl, and the other one just did a really good job for us. If it's a scenario where at the end of the day, Jets Twitter isn't saying we need to get rid of one of them, the media isn't calling them fat, calling them lazy, saying injuries are affecting them. If it's a good year, you have to keep them because it helps the whole team. Because you think about it, if they have to throw the ball, I trust Morris Claiborne to be a corner as long as he stays healthy. I think he can do his job. Jamal Adams, Marcus May, bright futures. If they know the ball is going to be near them, I expect a lot more interceptions for this team, a lot more defensive productivity, and that eventually leads to more chances on offense, maybe get these quarterbacks more and more reps, more and more opportunities, and, guys like Quincy Newell, Bilal Powell, more and more yards. So if they both fall out this year, absolutely, I'm keeping them. We have the cap space, and unless we want to go and try and sign a guy like Kirk Cousins, there's really no other way to spend this money. Kirk Cousins, Le'Veon Bell, probably the best free agents next year. We should continue building through the draft, but I think we should definitely keep them both if they both fall out this year.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Just one more question before you go. With the Jets have a pretty young defense, right? And as you know, that's pretty talented.
Yeah.
Do you see the Jets having possibly a top 10 defense this year? I mean, I know it's kind of a lot to ask for, but I know there's a lot of question marks. But I mean, if you look at it like this, the Jets' defensive line, it should be the best in football, but for some reason they never put it together. Maybe this is the year. I know Muhammad's playing for his contract. You got Sheldon playing for his, and Leonard Williams just seems to be a freak. You know what I mean? So I expect big things from him. The linebackers, as you know, are question marks, but I do expect Lee to at least get better. Other than that, we do have Kevin Green, coaching the outside linebackers. I don't know if there's elite talent there for him as a pass rusher. Probably not. But, I do expect a way better season from Molden. I don't care if he's a elite. I mean, I do care, but, I mean, he's probably not going to be an elite pass rusher, but he's got to be better than he was last year. Obviously, the weight didn't help him. What else? The secondary, I love Adams and May as a tandem. They probably will go through some growing pains, but I expect a pretty bright future back there in the secondary. And Bo Claiborne, if he can stay healthy, that's a big if with him. Last year, he really balled out. He was ranked like a top 10 corner last year when he was on the field. So, What are you expecting this year from the Jets defense overall?
Well, if the defensive line performs like I think they will, I think we'll have the number one defensive line in football. I don't think that's going to take much because Leonard's a Pro Bowler, Sheldon's a Pro Bowler, Muhammad Wilkerson's Pro Bowl level. If they have their regular seasons like they're supposed to have, they're healthy, they're trying, I think we're good. Number one defensive line in football. And as I said earlier, that severely helps guys like Deron Lee, who's still learning, Jamal Adams, Marcus May, all still learning, helping these young guys. They know what's coming. And when Todd Bowles knows that, I think he knows what the scheme for. He knows what's coming. So, I think it's a possibility if this defensive line definitely plays like they should, if they play to their talent level. Because I think Deron Lee, hopefully he'll stay healthy this year, and I think he'll make a big jump. I think Jordan Jenkins is going to have a very good year. I know I said the same thing for Lorenzo Molden, but I hope it's not a case like Lozo's where bad guidance and injuries, affect Jordan Jenkins. We've seen Jordan Jenkins did fairly well last year in coverage and did really good in the run game, and now he's getting these tips from some sack master out in Georgia. I'm forgetting the name right now. But a lot of these guys are making the steps to improve, and if our front three do the job they're supposed to, it's a possibility, and I'll say it'll probably fall somewhere between 8 to 12.
Yeah,
so
that'd be good. Way improvement from last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Last year we were getting burnt up and down the field. We were even getting gashed on last year in the run, and that's not like us. Teams were running all over us last year too. Carlos Hyde.
Yep.
That was never the old Jets team. Even though the Jets secondary might stunk in 2014, as you remember, they weren't getting run on like that. So last year was definitely an off year. I expect them to bounce back somewhere between, I'd probably say somewhere between 10 to 12, and I think that's fair because we're young and we're growing, gonna have growing pains, but. Like you, I do expect our defensive line to be at least. I want to say number one, but maybe a little bit too optimistic. Definitely top three, though. It definitely should be. There's loads of talent on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. All right, Ryan, go ahead and give us your social media because you brought the fire tonight, and I always forget your name because it's hard to tag you. You have a weird name, so go ahead and give us your Twitter so people.
Change it, but yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
put Ryan in there.
Yeah. You guys can follow me at NY_JetsNation98. Thank you for having me on, Kyle. Have a good night.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on. All right, and that was Ryan once again. And this is going to I got to mute him. And that's going to wrap up tonight's episode. Ben says his farewells. He's out on a hot date somewhere in the woods of Oregon. So hopefully it's not Friday the 13th. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we appreciate the love and support. I hope you guys enjoyed the Derrick Jones interview. It took us a while to confirm him to come on the show, so it was definitely worth it. And I think it was a good interview. And as I said, I hope you guys like it. As usual, you can follow us on all of our social medias, on Twitter, on Instagram. Just search The Jet Take. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, any other like podcatcher you can think of. We're there because we're delivering the most to you guys. And we got some big things coming. We're working on some things. We're working some deals out. Business is booming, as I said earlier in the show, and we're very excited for what the future holds with the Jet Take. And we just want to thank you guys for all the support because, even in the lowest points of the off season, which is right now, no headlines, our numbers are the highest they've ever been. So just thank you guys so much from Ben and I. We really appreciate it. And as usual, we're going to leave you with the best chant in the NFL. Until next time, go Jets. Producer wanted.